And okay, try it again.
Okay. Nope, same thing.
Ah, crap. Okay, so let's see here.
Allie, do you have a MacBook?
Yeah.
Do you do like the screen shots and stuff? You can also do screen record through there.
Can you? Okay, how do you do that? Because I've done a screenshot like a couple times, but not in forever. I could probably just Google it real quick.
I say click
If
on
you go, oh, sorry.
and then there will be a thing that says record entire screen or record portion of screen. I would click on one of those.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure if you're gonna have sound, but
Okay. Oh, you probably won't.
Well, it's
It
telling.
says it's recording.
Yeah, because it's recorded on my end,
Mhm.
and it's telling me allow all participants to share, chat, all that good stuff.
You could also try on Mac, you can go to QuickTime Player.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you get it open, go to, let's see. So go to File and
Mhm.
then go down to New Screen Recording.
Yeah, so that'll work, but it'll just record my screen and not my sound.
And I'm curious if you can do both the audio and.
I have my phone right here. Do you just want me to record it and I can send it to you?
I'm actually, so I'm just trying to log into my iCloud account. I'm just gonna ping my phone and grab it real quick. That'll probably just be the easiest way.
Okay.
No, Loom works too. That's what the teachers are using at our school. It's actually
Okay.
cool.
Just a sec. I love that, like, I go on iCloud to find my iPhone, like to use the Find My iPhone feature. And it says, okay, we sent a verification to your phone number. Like, that's not helpful for me to find my phone. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay.
And technology. Everything on my end, but I'm using a PC, so I don't know if that makes any difference, but
I don't know. I should I know where my phone was. Okay, sorry. That's nice. Hold on, I'm just gonna accept this because it's supposed to send me a code, so we'll see. I don't know.
Hello. This is Apple calling with your Apple ID verification code. Your code is 352918. Once again, that's
Okay. Thanks, guys. Sorry. Okay, now I can find my phone and we can just get on with our thing. Sorry.
it's all good.
Okay, I'm gonna go grab my phone and I will be right back. Okay. I'm back, I'm ready to roll. Okay. My husband made it into the bed, which would have been why I couldn't find it. Very husband move of him. Okay. Just gonna stick this right here. And then pull my outline. Be good to go. Okay, so I am going to show you guys how to make a sensory bin. So a sensory bin, if you've ever been on Pinterest, you know what a sensory bin is. Or if you worked in like a preschool classroom, you probably know what they are. So there's all different setups that parents and teachers can use. Sensory bins are literally exactly what they say they are. They're bins that kids can explore things through their senses with. So they work great for all children. And I've also seen them used in special education classrooms for kids who have, my sister's done this actually, kids who have sensory difficulties with touching certain things. It's like a safe way to introduce them to certain textures. So sensory bins can be made with very inexpensively. Things you likely already have around the house. So before you start, you want to have 1 to 3 shallow tubs. I don't know if you guys can see what's in front of me, but I have the IKEA sensory table. So it has 2 tubs in it that look like this. They're empty right now because I'm going to show you guys how to make one. Or you could just get like cheap 6-quart ones, work really well, 6-quart little clear bins from Walmart. And they're like, I think $3 a piece or something. You can also make these sensory tables if you want to keep them off the ground, or if you want to take them outside. It's a good way to go about it. So I've been super passionate about sensory bins. I had my oldest 3 years ago, and I learned about them through her doctor. And we do different ones all the time. We switch them out usually like once a week. But then I kind of became really intrigued by them because a preschool classroom I was in not that long ago didn't use them, which I was shocked by, because my daughter's preschool uses them, and then this preschool was like, yeah, we don't use those, they're too messy. I was like, isn't that the point of preschoolers, is to be messy? So anyways, I'm gonna share, if I can share my screen, I will. If I can't, we'll just skip it. But let's see here, share screen. There we go. Okay, I'm just gonna share this so you guys can see where I'm at. I have a little quote in here from a study that I read. It was a academic journal, and it's the study offered insight into teachers' perceptions of importance and use of sensory experiences in the classroom. It also generated an even bigger question. As previously discussed, teachers overwhelmingly reported that in general, they felt that it was very important to provide sensory experiences in the classroom. Thus, it would be expected that teachers would provide sensory experiences. Thus, it would be expected that teachers would provide sensory experiences in the classroom on a frequent basis. However, 47 teacher reports of provision of a variety of sensory experiences were low. So furthermore, teachers reported that few barriers to providing sensory experiences and activities. Therefore, it's perplexing as to why teachers are not providing various sensory experiences when they regard them as important and do not feel there are strong barriers to providing these activities. This leads one to speculate that perhaps the content of training workshops may not be adequate to train teachers in classroom management and implementation of various sensory experiences without follow-up mentoring. Also, high teacher-child ratios may impede the provision of sensory-rich experiences. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, but yeah, I read that, and it was a whole article about sensory experiences in school, but I read that and I was kind of surprised to know how little they're used, because I thought they were pretty popular, and they're super easy to do, and they're really, you can do them super inexpensively. So I also think that teachers aren't taught many ways. I read a study, I don't even know if I should say this because I think that I have to source it, but I read a study one time that said 2-year teachers who are in preschool classrooms that got a 2-year degree versus a 4-year degree in early childhood education, 2-year degree students were more prepared to offer sensory-rich experiences than 4-year degree students, because they're taught more age-appropriate skills for like their classroom. So, okay, so the base of a sensory bin, you want to have a base to your sensory bin, and you can use so many things. I'm just going to give you guys some ideas. So if you're using this for a child under 2, or a child who's likely to taste or eat what's in the bin, you can do cooked noodles. We do like ramen noodles a lot in our house because they're long and fun, and they think they're like funny to play with. And we color them sometimes. So we'll do like rainbow noodles, or we just did black and orange and purple noodles for Halloween. Crushed cereal. So I'm not gonna lie, sometimes we don't finish our cereal in our house before it expires, so I'll crush our cereal up and use it in the bottom of our sensory bins. Rolled oats are really easy, and they're super inexpensive. They come in like a big tub. Water, which seems silly, but it's a huge hit, and it's really good for kids who, my sister had an aversion to water for a really long time, and that helped her kind of get acclimated to it. And also, it's kind of a safe and controlled way to introduce them, like smaller babies, to water. So I also I've used fake mud, and I think I don't even know how I learned about this. I think a friend told me about this, but you mix frosting, water, and some cake mix together, obviously chocolate cake mix, and it turns into fake mud that's also safe taste. I used that in a farm sensory bin one time. And then rice, so cooked or not, it doesn't really matter. And then if you color rice, you want to leave it, you can color rice with food coloring, like just a tiny bit. We've used that for grass, dirt, water to make it look like grass, dirt, or water. And you want to leave it sit out overnight if you color your rice, by the way, because otherwise it will stain everything. And then if you're working with a kid that's 2 and above, or you don't think that they'll eat what's in, or you're putting in a bin, soapy water is fun. We've done like a clean the pumpkins or clean dirty animals kind of thing, where they have dirty pumpkins in one bin and then soapy water in the other, and then some brushes and stuff. And then popcorn kernels are really easy, super cheap. Anything from outside, dirt, grass, leaves, kids love that. Kinetic sand is really good. If you guys have ever used that, that's the best, kind of expensive. Cotton balls, flour, those little water beads like Orbeez. I know if you have kids, you know what those are. I know. And then ice or snow, shaving cream, craft pom-poms, craft feathers. And then if you're really daring, you can use some glitter or confetti. It'll never leave. So, so after you finish with your base, you want to add things that they can move around in the base, or move around the actual base with. So things like this work super well. And I grabbed these from all around my house. So cups, garden tools, which I use with I don't use those with my 1-year-old, but I use them with my 3-year-old, and supervised, obviously, but she's pretty mature, so she knows obviously that they could hurt her if she's not careful. Empty toilet paper rolls, containers, scoops, scissors, ice cream scoops, a whisk, cookie cutter. So basically all those things you already have around your house. Kids safe scissors, I might add, if that's not already a given. And then cupcake wrappers are super fun too. So I'm just going to show you guys an example of a sensory bin I'm going to put together today. I'm doing a farm sensory bin. Can you guys see my bin at all, or no? A little bit? Okay. So I'm using, there we go, all over the floor. Love it. So I'm using popcorn kernels on one side. And this is, I don't know if I said this, but this is a farm sensory bin. It's a little bit closer. And so we did popcorn kernels on one side, and then I'm just doing rolled oats on the other side. This is all stuff we had. My rolled oats expired a few days ago, so we're using them in our sensory bin. And I'll get up and show you guys in a minute, like how it looks when you're finished. So these are my 2 bases. And then you can kind of add whatever you want. So these are the basic toys I'm going to add. So just like some cups, some measuring cups, just a normal, this is a plastic cup, just for them to kind of dump the stuff back and forth. And then we are going to add some kid-safe scissors. I know this seems silly, but my daughter will literally cut up anything. So she could sit here and cut up these tiny rolled oats for like an hour. It's her favorite thing to do. And then I have a plastic spoon and fork. And then my last 2 things for the toys that we put, or for the little things we put in here, are like a sand strainer and then like a sand digger. So, and then this is the farm sensory bin, so we want to add some farm stuff. So I have this, a bunch of wooden toys. So these are like little Melissa and Doug toys. So like a tree, a pig, a goat, let's see, a chicken, a tractor. And then we have a bigger toy in here, just like a little tractor that you can set on the edge if they want to play with that. And usually I put this next to a barn on the floor. We have a little wooden barn in our house, so I put it next to a barn so it can kind of all go together. And then I just have like a couple other things that we add. Let's see here. I try to use like realistic looking things sometimes, so we stick with like You can get these at like Farm and Fleet. If you guys live by a Farm and Fleet, you live in Iowa, you probably do. A little horse, some cows, some more horses and cows, a little goat, a farm cat, and then a raccoon. So that's kind of what we go with. And this will seriously, like, kids will play with this for like an hour. It is just crazy how much they love it. And I'm not really like, I don't care if there's a mess on the floor. So this will get all over your floor. I can promise you, if you're letting a 3-year-old and 1-year-old use this, it will be everywhere. But if you don't like that, just take it outside. But it's pretty easy to clean up. This is a hardwood floor that I'm sitting on, so we just vacuum up after they're done. So if you guys are wanting any sensory bin ideas, I've done some in the past. So last week we just did flower planting. So I got little plastic terracotta, 6 terracotta like little pots, and then just some potting soil from outside. We had some left over from some work we had done, and then some kids had gardening tools, and then fake or real flowers. I just kind of picked some flowers from outside and let her plant them in the thing. So that was really fun. And then our farm, which we're doing this week. And then if you have kids who need to work on like number and letter recognition, I do like any base of your choosing, whatever you want to put the number, you want to put like magnetic letters or numbers in, any base you want to put them in. And then we have like a little laminated sheet that has all the alphabet on them, and then the magnetic letters match up with the alphabet or numbers. Oh, we did a birthday sensory bin for my daughter's 3rd birthday in August, and this is kind of fun. This is just a fun one. Every kid loves sprinkles, so we filled the whole bottom with like, we got a bulk sprinkles at Sam's Club and filled the whole bottom with rainbow sprinkles, and then put a bunch of different 3 toys, like number 3s in her bin. And then what else did we use in there? Oh, we had like little wax candles in there, and then some pieces of leftover cake, and then a teeny tiny bit of frosting so she could kind of make her own little cake in her sensory bin. And then our Halloween bin, which we just did, which was black, purple, and orange colored noodles. And you definitely, again, you want to dry those overnight. We did little plastic spiders from the dollar store, little pumpkin and candies and candy corn, and then tiny Halloween figures. So you can get those from the dollar store too, like little ghouls and goblins and witches and brooms and stuff. So with the idea you've talked about, you can see it's pretty easy to make up your own ideas too. You can kind of come up with anything and tailor it to your kid, what your kid likes, or what your students like. I recommend trying some of the messier ones outside if indoor mess is not your thing. And sensory bins can be super cheap, like soap and water. And if you need something cleaned, that's a really good way to sometimes trick your kids into cleaning their things. It's, oh, let's do this sensory bin with soap and water. And then they end up thinking it's like a little game. And you can kind of do something extra. It can be more expensive. My Halloween bin was a little bit more expensive because we had to get stuff from the dollar store, but still not too expensive. But I picked this because I think it's something we can do with all of the kids, all of your students. And if you're doing it at home with your kids, you probably like it too. I feel like sometimes I even have to pull myself away from like their little bins, or my daughter's like, go away, Mom, I'm playing by myself. So anyways, that's all I've got for you guys today. I can show you my little bin that I've got going on here. One sec, let's see. I don't know if you guys can see that. My son's a little bit, I don't know. But yeah, so that is all I've got for you guys.
Okay, and then I think we do like question and answers if anybody has any. Otherwise, we'll move on to the next person.
I have a question, Allie. I guess how long do you leave your cooked noodles in there? Because I know sometimes cooked noodles can get nasty and slimy. And do you leave them just for a week then?
Yeah, so when we do like food ones where stuff's cooked,
there's probably like a rule of how long you should leave that stuff out, but like most of the time my 1-year-old doesn't put stuff in her mouth anymore, so I don't worry about it too much anymore. But usually, like if you had a kid that put stuff in their mouth, I wouldn't leave that out for more than like a day or two. But most of the time we would just like cook noodles. Noodles are so easy to cook. We would just cook noodles every day and just throw some food coloring in them and throw them in the thing. So yeah, just like a day. But sometimes like I'll kind of push it since neither of them eat anything, and I'll leave them out for like 2 or 3 days if they're not like hard or gross.
Listen, I got a quick question. Do you feel like teachers do not do these things because of the fact that it sometimes creates a mess? I mean, is there like a lot of pushback from that?
Yeah, so I'm sure that teachers, like if you've ever worked in a district building, you know that well, I know we've had administrators that are like, don't do any snacks in your classroom because it attracts mice and it's so messy. And like, you just like one crumb of food on the ground and you've got like 8 gajillion mice and ants and everything in your room. So yeah, I think part of it's like the mess. But like even non-food stuff, I think sometimes like teachers just aren't very like well versed on, like if you moved from 5th grade to kindergarten, you're just not very well versed on like everything you can do in kindergarten versus like if you went from kindergarten to 5th, you're not well versed in stuff in 5th. So I just think like that article talked about, there needs to be a little bit more training for teachers to kind of implement like age appropriate activities in their classrooms.
All right, any more questions for Allie? Going once, going twice. Okay, so then Crystal W., do you want to go ahead and get
Yeah, that's
started?
cool. It's going to be hard to follow that one up though.
Well, I'm really chatty, so that was not supposed to be that long, but like I've told you guys before, I'm just like go on and on and on. I need someone to cut me off, so don't feel bad. I feel like I talked forever.
No, it was awesome. Like, yeah, I went a totally different direction. So I was talking with my daughter about this. Oh, timeout. So I don't have a way to record that right now. So if I record this again later, I can submit it that way, right?
I
Okay.
feel like she won't care. She's pretty relaxed, so I feel like it's fine. Well, I'll vouch for you that you gave us the presentation.
Thank you. So I was talking with my daughter about how-to speeches, and we were just kind of feeling a little silly that day. So I'm gonna sound like a nerd, but we love Twilight. And so my daughter's like, you should do a how-to watch Twilight Saga video. Just because, we were silly. And I was like, okay, I don't think anybody else would do that topic. So that's what I did. It was either that or how to plan a Disney trip, but this is what we ended up with. I hope it wasn't supposed to be school related. No, okay. I'm going to share my screen. I'm kind of learning how to, if I click the X, let's hope it doesn't delete me out. Okay. Can you see my screen? It's not very, I don't know how to do this.
I can see it.
You can see it?
Yep.
Okay. I'm sorry. I tried to practice this too.
If you push F5, it'll, yep, as I say, it'll bring it up for you.
Okay. Is this okay, or should I put it in a different format? It's fine. Okay. Yep. So how to watch the Twilight Saga. So I put the movies in order because there's several of them. So Twilight came out in 2008 and New Moon, like each one of them just came out each year after that. But New Moon, Eclipse, and then Breaking Dawn Part 1, and then Breaking Dawn Part 2. The second one actually came out in 2012. I just forgot to put the year in. So popcorn, that is my biggest thing when I'm watching movies is I love popcorn. So I don't do the bagged popcorn in the microwave. We do the air popped popcorn. So you can, obviously get whatever kind you want, but I like the white popcorn from Jolly Time. And so I would get my air popper out onto the counter and then my bag of Jolly Time popcorn and then butter and a tablespoon and then popcorn salt. So I would, I actually melt my popcorn or my butter in the microwave. So I would put 2 tablespoons into a bowl and then set that in the microwave, but I wouldn't press start yet. I would scoop out, I think it was a half a cup and put it into the pop machine. And then make sure that you have the lid kind of thing on it. I should have brought one over, I'm sorry. And then you make sure that you have the little plate that's up on top, like the melting butter kind of plate, because you can't pop it without that. It would go everywhere. Once I get all that in there, I would make sure that there's a big bowl underneath it so that the popcorn can pop into it. So I dump the popcorn into the popcorn popper and then I would plug it in and then put a minute onto the microwave. So whenever the butter's about like melted, the popcorn will start to pop and then I kind of drizzle it over it as the popcorn comes out. And then I kind of just put salt wherever. And then once that's done, I set it off to the side. Oh, actually when it's done, you need to unplug the popper. I don't know why they don't have an off and on switch. That's kind of weird. So it usually takes about 3 to 5 minutes to pop. And snacks. My son doesn't really like popcorn, so we do like M&Ms, Dots, Pepsi, any snacks that you like. So you'll probably have to get that from the store. So it might need to be pre-planned, but we like candy here, so we kind of have it just sitting around all the time, which is terrible because I gained like 20 pounds since March. So anyway, so you get those all put together and now you need to pick your comfort. So I like to be comfortable when I'm watching movies, but especially for the Twilight Saga because it's a little over 10 hours long for if you want to do the marathon. So I suggest like sweatpants or comfy pajamas, cozy blankets. When I watch my movies, my Chihuahua sits with me. So he's extra comfy. And then my daughter, she loves the movies, so she cuddles with me as well. So let's see here. Once you have all that picked out now, I guess I'm going to tell you how to put on sweatpants. So make sure that you don't have any pants on, and then you can grab your sweatpants and so you would place one leg through the pant leg. So your right leg goes with the right side, your left leg goes with the left side, and then you just pull them up. Same thing with the pajamas and your blankets. I like mine super like soft, so any blankets you want. Now we need to decide where your comfy space is going to be. Mine is usually on my love seat, and I have like a certain side that I sit on. So, yep. So then I have just kind of in order whoever you want to sit with. So now you need to grab your TV remote and turn the TV on. I have all the movies, but you can watch it on Hulu. So you select Twilight on the Hulu, and then once you select it, you just press play and adjust the volume to your comfort level. Once that movie is over, you're probably going to want to do a snack refill. So kind of like spread it out because it is 10 hours long, but I added some different snacks in there this time. And then if you don't have a TV, you can watch Hulu on a different device. So pretty much wherever you can just download Hulu or put on the website. Thank you for listening to me. And I got the slideshow from Slides Go. It's somewhere that it's new. Like for me, I asked one of the teachers, she had like super cute slides all the time. She's new to our district. And so she told me where she got this, and it was pretty cool. There's all different kinds of stuff you can find there. And here's the resources for the different like icons and stuff like that. And fonts and colors. And then that's it.
I like that Slides Go thing. That's pretty cool. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's really
Sorry,
awesome,
kind of,
Crystal.
it was definitely kind of boring, but
It wasn't boring because my daughter heard Twilight and she came running. So
oh,
she's-
that's
she's
awesome.
sitting right here with me. listening.
Well, good.
I was gonna say it's helpful for me because I've never watched any of the Twilight. So you putting them in order is that there you go. So I wrote those down. Now I know what order to.
Yeah,
watch them
I was
in.
kind of behind the times because I didn't get into it until later. So it always confused me which order to go in. So once I figured that out, it was a lot better. But yeah, it can be confusing.
Okay, Crystal, I have a question. Are you Team Edward or Team Jacob?
I'm kind of like a mix. Like I think probably more Edward, but I think Robert Pattinson is really cute. So I'm super excited for the new Batman movie to come out. But yeah. What about you? Are you a certain team?
I've never seen them. I
You've
just know
never
that's
seen
like
it?
the question everyone asks
Yeah.
about Twilight, so I thought I'd ask it.
Yeah, toward the
This
end, I
one-
think it was. I liked
This
all of
one's
them.
Gaga over Robert Pattinson. So we
This
see
would have
her
been
all
like
the time.
when you started, it made me laugh because we don't really watch Twilight as much, but my daughter is a huge Harry Potter fan. And this is like totally down, like as you were going through, I'm like, feel like I've done this a few times.
Yeah, so she probably one of her characters is probably Cedric Diggory then from Harry Potter because that was Robert Pattinson's character. Yeah. Yeah, it's my daughter likes Harry Potter as well. Yeah, I was like for like my 25th birthday, my friend thought it would be funny. She got me like an Edward doll, like a Barbie doll. I don't know if I have it anymore, but yeah, she thought that was funny. So does anybody else have any questions? Okay, I will probably stay on maybe for 1 or 2 more, but once I have to leave, I won't like click on anything. I'll just go ahead and log off. Is that okay?
That's what I was gonna say too, Crystal. I don't know when my husband's gonna text me. I'm gonna have to go put my daughter down for a nap soon, so I might have to pop off, but I'll stay as long as I can.
Thank you.
Anybody want to go next?
I can.
Any takers? Okay.
All right. Let me see if I can share my screen. All right. Can everyone see what I'm sharing? The PowerPoint? Okay. All right. So maybe.
I just want to say this is a great topic, especially with coronavirus.
Thank goodness for, I mean, at least this is the one good thing that came out of COVID for me. It's a presentation. Just a second. I am going to also video on my iPhone because I am paranoid that it's not going to record. Okay, so I am going to teach you how to make homemade disinfectant wipes. So with COVID, when it hit, everyone, I think, went into panic. Everything started disappearing and no one could find anything. So my question is, how many of you experienced a shortage of something through COVID-19? And out of those of you who did experience that, were either one of them disinfectant or cleaning supplies?
Yes.
I was hit very hard by this. And so the main reason why I started making my own wipes was because of my daughter. She has an autoimmune disease. It is, I will, where is it? This thing is in the way. Okay. She has eosinophilic esophagitis. She has had it since she was a baby, but we didn't find out till later exactly what it was called and put a name on it. Basically is her white blood cells attack her esophagus. And so when she eats, depending on what food it is, some foods are more irritant than others. We've experienced a lot of allergy reactions. She's went into anaphylactic shock. It's a big deal for us. So that goes back to why when COVID hit, we use Clorox wipes every single day, all day long. I used them on every surface in my house. I have 2 other kids that aren't allergic to anything. She's allergic to peanuts and eggs and chicken, and there's just a list. So everything has to be disinfected. She, on some foods, is so allergic that she can't even touch it. So when they ran out of Clorox wipes, I went into panic mode. I mean, I knew that you could make your own, but in my head, I felt better knowing I could buy them, that it was safe. But I soon found out there was other ways to disinfect that actually in the end is working out better for our family now. So I'm going to talk about the benefits of making your own. So financially, you can buy one of the big Clorox wipes. They're pretty big, and there's 105 wipes in there for $5.99. Like I said, at the time, that $5.99 was money well spent. I did it, and that's what you had to do. So now that I've switched over, and I will show you how to make them at the end, but it only cost me $1 to actually make, and it kind of depends how far you want it to go and how you use them too. And then health-wise, just the chemicals that are in most of the cleaning supplies that you buy in the stores have harsh chemicals in them, some lesser than others. So with that being said, I am going to, this video actually kind of just gives you a little perspective on some of the cleaning supplies that you might be using or what it can do to you. If you cannot hear it, let me know.
You're meticulous about cleaning, you could be harming your lungs.
A recent study suggests household cleaning products are nearly as bad as smoking a pack of cigarettes a day.
So we're going to check in with our chief health editor, Dr. Partha Nandi, to find out the truth behind this, Doc. The Pine Sol?
Yeah, Glenn, it must be my natural instincts that are keeping me safe because I do not love household cleaning. Now, this latest study out of Norway followed more than 6,200 people for over 2 decades. And what they found, Glenda, was that women who cleaned at least once a week had their lung function decline quicker than those who didn't clean. And women working as cleaners had their health even decline faster, with researchers comparing their exposure to smoking a pack of cigarettes every day for 20 years. It's amazing stuff.
So how are cleaning products affecting our lungs? What happens?
So we think the researchers think that the small particles in the cleaning products irritate the mucous membranes in the airways, which lead them to have long-term damage, which is not good because we need proper lung function to pump oxygen into the blood and get carbon monoxide out and carbon dioxide out. Poor lung function could be a sign of lung disease or the possible development of that.
All right, so you've got to clean though. So instead of cleaning products, what's safe to use?
So Dave, you're right, you got to clean. So it's really important to choose cleaning products carefully because federal regulation of these chemicals is fairly poor. So my prescriptions, as always, first, try to avoid spray cleaning products or spray the product onto a cloth so you don't breathe in the chemicals as easily. Also, solid and liquid cleaners may be the safer option to use. Be sure to read the label and follow all safety advice. And please skip the chemicals and use lukewarm water and a microfiber cloth. An abrasive sponge is also another effective cleaning alternative. And finally, please keep your home well ventilated. Open a window if you can while you're cleaning. Unfortunately, we can't avoid cleaning our homes. It's a necessity that needs to be done, but we certainly can take preventative steps to keep our lungs healthy, which is really important.
It is. Thank you so much, Dr. Nandy. And if
Okay, so I found that video super interesting because I have went to spray the tub and you cough and you can't breathe because it's so strong. So I found that video very helpful and gave I guess the reference to smoking a pack of cigarettes every day kind of was the wake up call, I guess. And not saying you can't use cleaners from home. I'm just trying to provide a safer way and maybe a healthier way. And so if you go on to another benefit is the environment. You're not those plastic containers that you buy those in, they're not going to break down. I mean, it's going to take years to break down. And relatively everything that you need to make these, I mean, you're not going to throw away anything. You're going to keep reusing. And more effective. Some of these kinds of cleaners are more effective or just as effective as the cleaners in the stores. That was my main concern, knowing that that was the reason I used them. And then it will also go on to, let's see. I found a case study. It's called The Effectiveness of 3 Home Products in Cleaning and Disinfection of Staphylococcus aureus and I'm not sure, coli on home environmental surfaces. So basically it took, the study took 3 different cleaning products, one being bleach, and this one they used the white vinegar, club soda, and tea tree oil. And then just some of them they use vinegar with water or rubbing alcohol with water. And they used each one of them. And at the end of the day, it became safer to use these and almost just as effective or enough to do what you need it to do. So the study was actually, it gave me the confidence in using and switching over to the homemade disinfectant. So if we go on, how to make homemade disinfectant wipes step by step. So what you would need is a storage container. You can use glass, you can use plastic, you can reuse. It doesn't matter as long as you can have a lid on it so it don't dry out. Rubbing alcohol. So I'm a Sam's lover. So you can get a pack of the 2-pack for $3.94. But it has to be at least 90% concentrated. Washcloths. Now, you don't have to go out and buy new washcloths. I mean, I'm sure we all have rags, old shirts. As long as they're clean before you use them, they're fine. I went out, I like these from Target. They have a little bit of a grip to them and a little, sometimes if they don't have any kind of texture, they're hard to clean with and they don't get up some of the things. So essentially you could have maybe ones that are smooth or soft for certain things, and you can use others for more of the dirt. So I just get a pack. And then essential oil, you can use anything you want, whatever smell. I know there's like lemon, there's lavender, rosemary, but I ended up going with peppermint because I like that smell personally, but you can use whatever you want. And Dawn dish soap, again, we're Sam's lovers, so everything comes in bulk. And then it says distilled water. We have filtered water, and that's what I end up using. So the other thing is, so these washcloths, I'll show you the size. You can cut them down however, whatever size you want. I clean surfaces, so a lot of times I will cut them in half, and they last a little longer than just using this big. But now if I'm washing like my table, or I've actually switched over to using it on, I will show you, my Swiffer. It will connect to the bottom of your Swiffer, and you don't have to buy those wipes that cost crazy amount of money, and you just push them in the holes and it'll stay on. So I've used it more than just making the wipes. So I just took one of my Rubbermaid containers with the lid, and here, I'm gonna back it up and see. Oh geez. Can you guys see this now better? Okay. So basically they called for two cups of water and 1 cup of the rubbing alcohol. Now, depending on what size of container you use or how many washcloths you use will depend on how much you want to do. So I start with, oh, yep, it's gonna go everywhere. I just put in, I did 4 cups for this container of the water, and then 2 cups of the rubbing alcohol. And then it says it calls for about 10 to 15 drops of like your essential oils. Personally, it's just up to you on how much like you really want to use and how strong of a smell you want. So I don't know about you guys. I cook like this. I just kind of, go with the flow and kind of hope for the best. And then your Dawn dish soap. So it's supposed to be 2 to 3 tablespoons per the 2 cup to 1 cup. And I will share with like the actual printout I can share with you guys, so you can actually maybe do it unlike myself and make it legit. Like I said, I just pour it in because really the main concern that you're going to have is like the rubbing alcohol is your disinfectant. And you can just take either a whisk or a fork and kind of just stir it all around. And then I just place them in there however you'd like, stack them. And like I said, you can use any container. We use, I use this kind of container for my kitchen. And then actually my husband has one outside that he uses a bucket, and he uses it outside around the grill, because even on the surfaces of the things that you don't think of, like our deck, well, when he grills, he touches the deck. So long run, everything has to be clean. So anyways, now it's all sealed in there. Like I said, it doesn't mean that everything is so bad, but this is what worked for us, and it cost a lot less. And I don't feel as bad making my kids clean a little bit with it because it's safer. And they actually like to make them. That's a plus. They can choose their smell. They can put it all together. They like to cut up stuff. So give them some old t-shirts, make them cut it. Yeah, make them do the work. So if you want the actual picture, I can send it to you. Like I can send it in the email that we're all on if that's what you would like. So, all right, that is it.
I have a question that I've just been thinking since you brought up the point of alcohol. So like my tables have like a finish on them. Have you ever noticed if like your alcohol, just because you're using such a high concentrated one, does it take off your finish?
So that is a super good question. So my table is, my husband made it. It has a varnish on it with the Dawn dish soap that cuts through that alcohol.
Okay.
So now I'm not saying like every surface, but I have not had any problems with my varnish. Now I don't have like granite. I know sometimes granite can be different. And that's the other thing. You can use vinegar. That's another one. Baking soda. There are different recipes, so to speak, online that you can use for different surfaces. Because I know granite's pretty picky about what it can go on without ruining it.
And then I have another question. Have you ever used you said you use towels, but like have you ever used what are those? Paper towels?
I have actually I use shop towels, the blue ones, because regular towels, paper towels rip so easily and they get sogged down so bad that the shop towels, you only have to use one. And we take those where we're going. Like I put them in the car and camping, anything. So then, I mean, it cuts back on what you're throwing away, but they're great to travel with.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question. Well, I have two questions.
Yeah.
One, does it matter what kind of like what brand of essential oil you get?
I don't believe it does. I mean, I know that some are more like, some say organic, some say, I just went to Target and I just buy theirs. Now, this bottle is about $8. I personally, don't have time to like go around a million places. You might be able to get it cheaper online, I'm sure, but it lasts forever. I mean, I've had a bottle forever and we make them all the time. So it's just, that's what I use.
Okay. And then my other question is, does it matter which color of Dawn? Because I know like the blue is different than some of the other colors.
I think that comes down to more like preference. Like for me, like the Dawn was my favorite before all of this. Dawn gets through anything. I mean, if you watch like anything about oil spills, that's what they use to get the oil out of the animals. I mean, it's amazing without harming anything or the animals. This is just what I use. I just find that it works the best. So, and it's the platinum. And like I said, Sam's, I think this is only like $8 or $9 and it lasts forever.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
I guess another question, sorry. Do you think, this might just be a preference, but I'm sure I know which way it's gonna go if you like Dawn. What if someone used like the cheaper dish soaps? Do you think it's gonna work as good? No, just
I think, well, I mean, I think it does come down to what you're wanting to clean to. I think it would work. You might have to put a little bit more elbow grease into it to get some of that stuff up, and I ain't about that. So, but I mean, I'm assuming obviously any kind of soap would be fine.
Thanks, Melissa. That was really awesome.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, and can you please share that with us? Because actually at our school, I work in preschool, and we are going through disinfectant wipes like crazy. And we feel bad asking the parents to help send some, but we also can't keep buying them out of our pockets, and our school doesn't want to provide them anymore because it's becoming so much. So we wanted to make them, but we're like, how do we make them?
Yes, I will gladly, and I'll just send it through that email that we're all on.
Thank you, because I was just thinking we could do the same thing. I work in a SPED level 3, and we actually have a washing machine and a dryer too. So, I mean, right in the room. So what we use can go straight into the washing machine and be washed.
Yeah, that's great.
So if you use your, sorry, another question, just because I'm gonna really consider doing this, but
Yeah.
you use them, you put them in like a hamper to be washed, you wash them, you dry them, then you reuse them.
Mhm. Yeah, and honestly, and that was another thing. It kind of depends what you're washing. So a lot of times I'll take a regular washcloth with warm water. I will wipe everything down first, and then I'll use this only because I can just put it back in because it's not dirty, so to speak. So those last me a long time. Now the floor, obviously you're not going to reuse, you're going to just want to wash them. So, but like I said, you can use, we have switched over to so many things. I mean, just even in the bathroom, and it smells better too. Just FYI, like whatever essential oil you have, it's going to smell better than some of those cleaners.
And I bet the smell lasts a little bit longer, like that cleanly smell.
It does.
I want to throw something out there just because I've experienced this, and it was really scary. So I work at a middle school, and then so I would use like the tea tree oil shampoos and stuff to kind of. We had a student there that had lice, and so yeah, they need to really change the laws on that. But anyway, so I was using the shampoo, and then my dog started having seizures, and I didn't know what was causing it. I just thought since he's a Chihuahua that he was just having them because he's 7. And then come to find out it was actually my shampoo from the tea tree oil.
For dogs.
Yeah, and I didn't know that until I started doing some research. So, and I know that there are some essential oils that cats can't be around either, but I just wanted to put that out there because it was so scary. Like, I'm so lucky that he's still around. But yeah, it was
Yeah,
definitely eye-opening.
My poor cats would be dead, I'm sure, if I used the wrong one.
yeah, and I think there is a website. I'm glad you brought that up because yeah, like diffusers and stuff you're not supposed to use if you have cats but now I use like the peppermint. I use and I have a dog and I've read about it and
Yeah.
it's okay. So
I think if you just Google it, you guys, like for Young Living, I use quite a bit of Young Living. And I think if you Google it and just make sure that it's safe for pets, it'll tell you the list of things that they can't be around. Will help.
Cool. Okay. Any more questions? I know that was a really good one. I know our there was a kid in our 4-H group that made disinfectant wipes before COVID all went down. So we're like, you were a really smart kid. But he used baby wipes. So he actually poured like the solution that you're talking about. I think his was a little different, but into the really, really cheap like dollar pack of baby wipes, and then you let them sit on the shelf for a couple days or something. So, but yeah, no, if you're going to do some bigger heavy duty clean, then that's kind of the more economical way to go. So, okay. And actually, if you guys don't care, do you care if I go next, or does anybody else want to?
You go, Crystal.
Okay. And then I'm really super, super sad that I cannot share my screen, but I'm on a borrowed computer and I don't think the webcam works. So, but I can at least get to my stuff. Whoops. Or I hope I can get to, oh, there it is. I'm really glad I did not have to do this on the phone, though. I don't know what I would have done. Maybe. Okay, there we go. Okay. So, um, okay, can everybody see that?
You can see a workforce readiness.
Yes. Okay. So, I am, okay, I am part of an organization that's called SHRM. I know that sounds kind of weird. Basically, it's the Southeast Iowa um, chapter of Human Resources Management. So it's a bunch of HR professionals that get together basically once a month, and we talk about different issues that are going on in the area, about the different companies. So if you work anywhere here in Oski or Pella or Atumwa, there's quite a few. Probably your HR person is part of our group. um, but no, so one of the things that we do in this group of us is we volunteer at the like high schools and different colleges, and we go talk to those individuals or those kids there because they're basically our future workforce. So we want to give them kind of the leg up on what we're going to expect from them, as far as when they come in for an interview, or when we are looking to hire people, what kind of information do we want to see on their resume. So that's kind of what I'm going for with this. So if some of this is kind of, you're thinking this is maybe like for high school kids, it really kind of is geared towards, so it's a little redundant, but I've got some information that I'll give you otherwise to go over. So what we like to tell people, first of all, especially if you're in high school or if you're just fresh into college, what's for you? Like, what are you going to want to get into? Obviously, if you're a college student, you're not going to really want that job that's washing dishes. You're probably going to want something that's a little bit more entailed or pointing towards what your career is going to be. So, what did you do good in like your school subjects? What kind of hobbies do you have? Do you have computer skills? So that's another big one. If you have computer skills, I mean, I don't want to narrow the portal here, but that's going to widen your choice base a little bit more than if you don't. So when they give you those computer classes, those are something that you want to take advantage of. And then speaking experience. So perfect for this one, or for what we're doing now is, do you have experience with speaking to groups? Do you have, did you do any presentations in school? How did you feel about it? So it may not be, are you good at it? It's how do you feel about it? So as opposed to working in the back of the restaurant, are you going to be better working out as a waitress? Do you have good interactions with the public? So that kind of speaking experience. And then, okay, what kind of career goals do you have? So even if you're doing like a part-time gig that's not related to, if you're going for accounting or something, if you're doing some kind of a part-time job that's going towards the end goal financially, it's still moving you forward. So you're picking up on different skills such as the dependability, communication, teamwork, and then you're also learning different expectations in the workplace, because those can vary quite a bit. What is acceptable at one place is totally not acceptable at the other. So as you pick up these different jobs, you're picking up these different expectations. Okay, so the big one, and I am hearing it a lot again, is, there aren't any jobs out there. There aren't. They all got shut down because of COVID. And there are a lot that got shut down because of COVID, but there are a lot that were created because of COVID. So the biggest thing as far as, where do you start if you're looking for a job? The biggest one is networking, whether that's with your parents, whether that's with your friends, whether that's with current coworkers. If you hear from word of mouth from someone, oh, hey, I heard Vermeer is hiring. Oh, hey, I heard Indian Hills has some stuff that came open. Just talking to people as far as learning, hey, I heard, and follow up on it. So the other source that I really like to point to is they call it job service, but it's Iowa Workforce Development, which is down there in Ottumwa, right across from it's the school that's there. So Iowa Workforce Development tends to get a little bit of a bad rap because that's also where unemployment stuff goes through. And so I've heard a lot of people say, oh, yeah, that's where people that don't have a job. And I'm like, well, obviously you don't have a job. So you're looking for a job. So you want to go there, right? But they also, while you're there, give you a lot of free resources. I'm all about free. So if you need to brush up on your computer skills, they have kiosks there that you can go and take these little quizzes. You can also find those online. If somebody's asking how many words per minute you can type, you can go online, Google up how many words per minute quiz, and it'll tell you how many words per minute you can type. So if you want to like work on that, they have programs there that you can do that. They also have for like your tradesmen. So if you are not real super great on doing blueprints, reading blueprints for production jobs, they can teach you how to do that. So there's lots of different teaching opportunities, learning opportunities there. And then the other place to find jobs is temporary staffing agencies. So I know down in Ottumwa, there's Manpower. That's a big one. And then there's Iowa Staffing, and there's Soap Creek Resources is another one here around Oskaloosa. So they're basically, they are finding you the jobs. So you go to these places and you say, hey, I'm looking for work. You are kind of at their mercy as to what they're going to throw at you. So if you're looking for that steady full-time, I want benefits, this is probably not your place. But if you are looking for a specific place that you want to go into, so say you want to go into Clow, or you want to go into Vermeer, then you let them know this is where I would like to end up. And sometimes they have those temp to full-time placements. So you'll work there as a temporary employee, but once you've been there for a year, and for example, say it's Clow, they see you working and they're like, hey, this is a really good employee. We'd actually like to have them on staff. Boom, you're now full-time. So, and you're now a Clow employee instead of the staffing agency. So how do you find a job? Lots of places to find a job. Something else that I do like to push on is it's called Skilled Iowa. It had a really good push here a few years back, and it's lost a little bit of steam. It's the National Career Readiness Certificate. So Iowa has this program, and it's kind of nested under the Skilled Iowa program. So if you go to that skillediowa.org, you're going to learn a lot of information, including where you can go take this test. I know, another test, nobody wants to take another test, but this is one you willingly do. It is basically a way for an employer to see this on your resume and go, oh, they know how to read and understand. They know how to do basic math, and they know how to locate items. And when I say locating, this is particular to if you work in like a warehouse. So you're trying to find, so they have a coding system on how they store their inventory. And so if you go up to a computer and you type in the date code and some other information, you can basically go find that out in the warehouse. So it's a lot of real common sense information. So it's not like you have to study for it. You really can't study for it. It's basically what you already know, what you've learned through experience and what you've learned through school. So you're testing on foundational cognitive skills. There's no cost to the participant, and it really, honestly, there's some employers out there that if they see this on your resume that you've got, you've taken the National Career Readiness Certificate and you have a silver or a gold level, because they score you based on levels, then you're automatically put into the pool because they know they only have to teach you how to run that machine. They don't have to teach you how to read a ruler. They don't have to teach you how to understand basic stuff. So this is giving the hiring manager a little advantage to knowing that you already know these things. So, and it's free. So, how do you apply? So, and again, I know this is kind of a little bit basic here, but is there currently a position open? So me working in HR, the companies that I've worked for, we will take, anybody will take your application. But we're really going to look at your application and your resume if we have stuff open because we have a need. So you're basically wanting to dig and see if there is a need there for them to hire you. So check on their website on how they want you to apply. So the first thing that you need to do is you already need to have a resume. If you don't, any kind of experience, whether you have work experience, whether you don't have work experience, whether it's limited, whatever, create a resume and have that handy. So then the other one is to fill out the company's application. So whether it's actually online or you have to walk into their doors and grab one, fill out their application. The reason they want you to fill out their application is because they're kind of testing you to make sure that you can follow instructions, because they're going to ask you certain questions. Again, it seems kind of redundant, but they're asking you certain questions that you may not be asked elsewhere, or vice versa. So that's why even if you submit a resume, they may turn around and say, oh, hey, go ahead and fill out our application. And you're thinking, well, I already gave you my resume. It's already got everything. There's a reason for it. So, and then bottom line, if you don't know how to apply and you can't find anything on the website, pick up the phone, call the reception and say, hey, I'd like to apply. How do I do that? I know that sounds silly, but honestly, if they make it that hard for you to find it on their website, make them work for it. So, okay. Cover letters. I won't spend a lot of time on this. There are times that it's okay to put a cover letter with your resume. And it may make the difference between getting in the pile of, yep, we want to look at them, or the pile of, nope, not even going to consider them. So good cover letter needs to complement and not duplicate your resume. So you're essentially wanting to say in that cover letter, hey, I saw the assembler position is open, and I want to apply for that one. And then here is why I feel like I would be a good fit. And then I've attached my resume. So you're just kind of really short summary. It does not need to be a big full page. And it's also got your contact information on there. Your resume also has your contact information. It's just a little bit of redundancy. That's a good redundancy because they see your name once. Now they see your name twice. Oh, they might remember your name. Of course, when you're doing those, you do, I've seen it multiple times. You have a good cover letter, but then you use it for multiple employers. So you're throwing your application out there or your resume out there to multiple employers because you're just looking for a job, which is absolutely fine. But make sure you update your cover letter because I work at Weiler, and I don't know how many times I've gotten a cover letter that says Clow or Subway or, and I'm like, you forgot to update that. You didn't. There's an attention to detail that you forgot. So minor, but just remember that they don't know that you're applying for multiple places. So. And then types of cover letters. So if you're just applying, you want to work at a specific place of employment, not potentially like a position. So your application letter, that is responding to something that you know is open. Prospecting is just exactly what it says. It inquires, or it's kind of like a letter of interest. And then there's networking. Networking is used very, very little. I mean, unless you're going like for CEO type stuff. So you're basically just seeing, you're fishing. Let me just say you're fishing. You're fishing to see if there's something going to come open. You know, somebody's going to be retiring soon. You know, hey, I would like to get into your company. How can I do that? So those are not very common, but application letter is what I talked about before, where you're talking about, yep, that specific position. And here's why I think I would be a good fit. Okay, so down to your resume. Check, double check, triple check, quadruple check, spelling and grammatical errors. Those are, I see a lot of those. The next big one is email address. So that email address that you made in middle school that you still have because you don't want to get rid of Yahoo because you really like it and you're really familiar with it, but it says sexy cowgirl at Yahoo. I laugh because I just saw that the other day. So I've seen some really, really good email addresses that tell me way too much information. So it's very, very easy to make a new email address. I actually have seen quite a few, and I think that teachers are catching on to when you make an email address, they do like your first name dot middle initial dot last name at Gmail. So it's yours. The only downside is I've seen, and it's typically with females when they change their name. Now they have the old one. So just make sure that email address is not saying what you don't want it to say. So callback number. So typically, if the employer is interested, they're not going to email you back. They're not going to text you. They will phone call you. So first of all, do you have a voicemail set up? If you do not have a voicemail set up, then I cannot leave you a voicemail to say, hey, we're interested in bringing you in for an interview. So then I have to try and call you back. And about the third or fourth time of calling you back and not being able to leave that voicemail, we get frustrated. So the other one is I've noticed there is, and I'm not super tech savvy on this one, but there is a feature where you can say, play this song while we're finding your, whoever you're trying to call. If you're going to do that, again, make sure it's not the WAP song or just something weird. I've had that a couple times. Your callback number, and then make sure you do not typo your number, because then at that point the game's over and we can't get a hold of you. So attention to detail is super, super important with those things. Your resume needs to be 1 to 2 pages. You don't need anything fancy to hold it in. Just clean, neat paper. If you are a smoker, there's nothing wrong with that. Just be aware that that smell can carry on the paper. If you spill your coffee on it, please just get another one. There's been some sticky unknown substances that we've gotten on them, and I'm like, that. I just make a copy of it and I throw the original away, and I'm like, I don't want to know. And then unless you're going for modeling, or unless you are doing something with media, news, we don't need your picture. So we really don't even need like the fancy letter on the top corner. We just need information. That's the big thing. So when I was doing these, I actually put my own resume, like a screenshot. So there's a lot of information in there because I've been working in HR for 14 years. So, the thing is when you have a base resume, so you've got, everything you've ever done. And then if you're going to apply, for example, in the HR field, there's all kinds of different facets. So if I'm going to apply for an HR job that is just specifically benefits, that's all I'm going to do is I'm going to like administer benefits. I'm going to go through and take out some of those bullet points that maybe are not necessarily important to that particular job that I'm applying for. But I'm going to keep the base resume with everything in it. So again, if you put everything in there, you're going to be pushing that 2, 3, 4 page document, but nice, clean, Times New Roman, kind of like APA. There is no specific format, but just something that is very easily read. And then if you are going to email your resume, make sure that you use a font that's very common, because if you don't and it gets emailed over to me in a Word format, then it comes up in this really weird format that now it's like 5 pages long, and I'm like, ugh, I don't want to read through that. So or it's really hard to read through that. So the other thing you can do is PDF. So once you get it the way it needs to be, save it into a PDF format, and then email it. Okay, so that first page is, of course, I had my contact information at the top, which I took off, but and then my work experience. So you've got your work experience. You really only want your top 3. So with me, I've spent the last 13, 14 years in basically that one job. And I did a lot of moving in between with that company. So it's okay. Actually, let me go back and show you that. So say you work somewhere for a really long time. I worked at InterPower. I was most recently the human resources job. And then before that, I was a customer service rep. So within that same job, I put all those different duties, but just tried to specify the difference between those. So then if you have another like different jobs, that's when you can, put your different job, the dates of employment, because those are really looked at, what your job title was and what you did. You can put your supervisor there. A lot of times, like for example, that one, they're not even there anymore, so it's not helpful. This is also a few years old. Then you're going to put your education and additional skills. So what you did while you were there, and then additional skills, activities is other things that you can do that maybe you didn't do in those jobs. So it's kind of a catch-all, but it's not the catch-all. You want to, again, make sure you go through and pick out what's pertinent to what you're applying for. Okay, so you've done your resume, you've submitted it, you completed their application. The absolute hardest part of the entire process is sitting and waiting. Because there are some employers that need to fill that position right now. So they're going to really speed through it. And maybe you're talking like a week and a half before you have that interview. And then there's some of them that they've got 3 or 4 different positions open. And so they're kind of sitting on it. Sit back and wait. Again, the hardest part. I did talk about PDFing. If you do apply via email, if you're directly emailing, so not like if you're sending it through an online portal, if you're emailing them directly, make it stick out with the subject line. And then the body of the email, the body of your email can be your cover letter. So otherwise you can just put something very, very simple. I've attached my resume for this position that was open. I look forward to hearing from you. Something very short and sweet. And that's kind of resumes in a nutshell. So yeah, any questions?
Not so much a question, but that was a great run through.
Cool.
I agree. That was great information.
Yeah, and I like to make it as pertinent to today as possible, but anymore there's like, oh my gosh, there are so many scenarios that come up that it's not even funny. But But yeah,
Hey girls, not to interrupt. I didn't realize we were still going to be here, which is totally fine. We are buying a house and we have to go meet with our realtor. So I'm going to have to scoot.
That's okay.
Now, I recorded this, Crystal, on my phone.
Mhm.
Of course, it's saying the size. Are you still going to try to send the link to
yes.
this? Okay.
Yep. So once I get done, I will, once it downloads, I'll send that link out to everybody, and I will make it accessible. Yep.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yep. No problem.
Thanks, girls.
Mm-hmm.
Have a good day, Melissa.
Yep.
Thanks, you too.
Well, I can go next. That's fine. Unless you want one. Here, Aubrey.
Well, and hold up there, Kendall, because I'm trying to get back to the original screen.
Go up to, wait, go up to the top, Crystal, where it says view options. Can you stop sharing? Is that what you're doing?
I'm trying to, yeah, I'm trying to stop sharing. Nope. Great. Broke it. Because am I still sharing?
Yeah, I don't have much to show because let me just say this week was a disaster. So I didn't physically get to make my crystals that I'm going to share with you guys, but I do have like 3 of the steps but I can just email those too. That's fine.
Okay.
So it's not that big of a deal if I can't screen share.
Well, and I can't even. It's so frustrating when you're not on your own computer. That's just people. Meeting controls. Fabulous. Did it sign me out? Sorry, ladies.
Fine.
I
At least it's a cute background.
know, it's my puppy dog on the boat. Okay. I'm wondering, did it log me out? And that would be my luck that it timed out. I'm already signed in. Okay. I don't know why it is not letting me go to the meeting controls. Okay. Do either of you know how to?
I tried to see if it would let me screen share over top of you and it wouldn't.
And it's not. Yep.
I have no. You want to try? Can you leave the meeting and come back? Would that do anything? I don't know.
Well, and like I can't even get to the screen where it gives me any of the buttons at the bottom of the screen anymore. And it's not letting me sign in because I'm thinking that I got signed out. Wow. Okay, so I wonder if, because is it just Marnie and Kendall on here yet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, okay, let me just try another screen. Oh, well, that's fun. They're combining the corn right outside, so that's going to be loud.
I mean, I can start, Crystal. Like I said, there's not much I have to share. And then if you want to keep trying what you're trying.
Yep. And say, as long as you have record clicked on your end, yeah, go for it.
Okay. 1 second. All right. So I'm going to teach you how to make crystals. Most people use these as like ornaments on their Christmas trees. So while this could be messier with little ones and some households may not have all the materials, I'm still going to teach you how to make sparkly crystals in the comfort of your own home. This is super simple, very interactive, and all around fun. A fun activity for everyone in the house. This activity will get everyone interacting with one another, and many of us have these materials in our home. So prior to starting this process, we're going to need a handful of materials. And the materials we are going to need are 2 wide mouth jars, pencil, string, a pipe cleaner, borax, scissors, water, 1 cup measuring, and a tablespoon. There are some materials that can be optional when making these crystals, and the optional materials would be food coloring, any color, not specific, ribbon instead of string, ribbon, 1 second, guys. And then ribbon instead of string. After gathering these materials to make the crystals, our first step in this process will be to create the shape in the pipe cleaner that you want to make your crystals look like. So if that's a star, a heart, whatever, a triangle, circle, whatever you want to make. The shape should not be too large. So when you go to stick it in the clear jar, there needs to be plenty of space on the sides and from the bottom. Because if your shape is too large, once the crystals form, you won't be able to get it out of your jar. Now on to step 2, we're going to tie the string to the string or the ribbon to the pencil. Preferably in the middle of the pencil so you have a good support. Step 3 is where we will be checking our shape to make sure that it is not too large and is hanging in the jar on the pencil, resting over the top. Once your shape is heating, make sure and check that it is not touching the sides or the bottom of your jar while it hangs. If it is touching the sides or the bottom of the jar, we're going to need to readjust and recheck the shape until it is not touching the jar. Then once you've checked your shape and it's not touching the bottom or the sides, you're going to take it out and set it aside. On to step 4, this is where if your children are doing it, they're going to need adult assistance. We're going to fill our jar that we're using 3/4 of the way full with water. When filling your jar 3/4 of the way with water, you're going to use 1 cup measuring until you've hit that 3/4 in your cup. You're going to place your jar filled with water into your microwave for roughly 3 to 5 minutes, could be longer. In order to take it out of the microwave, knowing that it is where it needs to be, your water should begin boiling or having some boiling taking place. So once your water has started boiling, an adult will need to use caution and take it out of the microwave and place it on a heat-safe area or surface. Now that our cup for every cup of water that we use to fill our jar, we're going to need 3 tablespoons of borax. So if you used 3 cups of water to fill your jar 3/4 of the way full, you're going to need 9 tablespoons of borax. Once you have placed the amount of borax you need into the jar, use the spoon and stir the borax till a majority of it has dissolved. If your borax has not dissolved fully, you'll still see some floating around the top of the jar. Add 1 more tablespoon and stir it. This will make a saturated solution. At this point, if you chose to add color for your crystals, you would add anywhere from 5 to 10 drops of food coloring to the solution and mix it a little bit longer so that it's in with the solution. Now on to step 6. Now our solution should be ready and we can hang our pipe cleaner shape in the jar. Your shape should be completely covered with the water and borax solution. You will need to let it sit overnight or for roughly 12 hours for best results. After it has set, you will gently remove it from your jar and you should have a shape now that is crystal covered. You can place your jar that you were first using aside and have your second jar that is completely dry to hang your crystallized shape into to finish drying. And then step 7 would be, now that your crystals should be completely dry, you can hang a new string or ribbon from the top of your crystal. And some people hang these in their windows, some people hang them on their Christmas trees. Just a fun way to get everybody involved in a fun activity. That's all I have.
Good job, lady.
I didn't know what to do. I was like, this is like crazy.
Nah, that's all good. I say now, like, how long will those crystals last? Like, because you were talking about for Christmas ornaments and stuff. Will they like change shape and melt or anything? Oh, you're muted. Sorry.
Oh my goodness, sorry. So the ones I've done in the past, they lasted like through the season. If you don't mess with them and you are careful putting them away and where you store them isn't like, if I stored them in my attic, they would most likely be trash next year because it's so hot up there. My guess is like if you have a nicely cooled, moderate temperatured area, they would be okay for a year or 2, maybe 3, depending how careful you are with them.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I think it's just real short term.
Okay.
I'm excited for Marnie's 2-ingredient bagels.
Right? Gosh darn it. And it's still showing my screen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gosh dang it.
Yeah, because I only have 3 pictures. It's just like what your pencil should look like in your jar. Step 1, creating a shape, and then what it looks like after the crystals have.
Okay.
So nothing super, super important.
No. Well, and I too, what's freaking me out a little bit is I think I'm gonna have to, like, when we end the meeting or however I end the meeting, I'm gonna have to log back in and God, please let it have recorded the whole thing. I mean, it is, because when I went to go sign back in, it's given me the little recorded thing, but
And it says over here that it's recording.
does it? Okay.
Okay, are you ready to be amazed?
I like
We
your
were just
intro.
talking about these.
Okay, I'm just gonna show you my face, but when I get like things going here, then I'll point to things and do whatever. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Okay, Maddie's taping me too, just in case. So I'm gonna show you how to make 2 ingredient bagels. These are awesome if you have lots of kids. Like I have 6 kids, Crystal. I don't know if you know that, but so we're always on the, everybody's always hungry and everybody's starving all the time. So my teacher that I work for gave me this recipe because it's really super easy and fast, and they're incredibly delicious. So you are going to need Chobani, just plain old yogurt, but it has to be non-fat. That's the most important thing to remember, okay? Can't have any fat in it, because if it doesn't, they set up weird and they like lose their form and everything. So, and the best thing about this is the way I cook, because I just dump and go. So basically what you're doing is, if you use 3 cups of yogurt, you're using 3 cups of self-rising flour also, okay? So if you want to make a ton of bagels and you want to use this whole entire thing, or if you want to use 2 of them, you can just count your cups and then count your flour, and you got everything equal, okay? So I'm just gonna dump some in here. Jason said make a lot because he likes them a lot. And then I have a Danish dough hook. I don't know if you guys have one of these. This is the greatest thing in the whole wide world. My dad gave me this, or gave my daughter this for her birthday this year, and nothing sticks to it. So I have a huge $500, $600 KitchenAid mixer, but I never use it because I always use this. So I'm gonna dump my flour in. And I also learned that if you do the yogurt first and then put your flour in, and if it gets a little sticky, you can still add, or you can kind of, you know what I mean? Like if you don't have things like equal, or if the dough is a little sticky, then you can, here, I'll move this so you can, I don't know if you can see, Kendall, can you see that at all or no?
Yes.
Okay, so it's just gonna look like, it kind of looks like biscuit dough. And I am gonna put some more flour in it because I didn't. It's a little sticky still. And like I said, I don't measure anything. I'm like the Swedish chef on the Muppets. So I just kind of go by feel. And I shouldn't be wearing black because now I'm flopping everything all over the place. And while you're doing this, I can't do this next step because I am deathly allergic to eggs. So what you should do is make an egg wash for the top, because then when you're done, you're gonna stick this everything bagel seasoning, or you can use garlic powder, whatever you want to put on top of your bagels. You can leave them plain, totally up to you, but you should use an egg wash because that helps it stick. But because I'm allergic to eggs, I can't. I just skip that part and just pray that everything sticks on there. So, and it usually does. Sometimes I do it twice. Oven should be preheated to 350. This is good, I think. So seriously, look, nothing sticking.
Awesome.
Amazing. I don't know. My dad is like, I think my dad gave these to a whole bunch of people for birthday presents and Christmas presents. And my mom was like, why are you buying stuff on the internet, old man? But really, this is one of the things that if you see it on the internet or on Facebook, it works. So then you're just gonna, ooh, still a little sticky. So then I just sprinkle like my I sprinkle my stuff. Okay, I'm gonna turn this again so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so you need about that's about a good size for that. Sorry, I forgot to spray my pan. All my beautiful helpers left. So I just flatten mine out and kind of make it into a ball. And I am gonna use some more flour because of course this is sticky. Get it into a ball and then stick your thumb through the middle. And I just spin mine on my thumb. They're not gonna look like the ones that you bought at Dunkin' Donuts or, you know, the ones that you pay lots of money for, but they're just, you know, whatever. Put them on your pan. And like I said, like this is probably gonna make me at least 8, not super big bagels, but big enough. But however much stuff you use between the yogurt and the flour is going to give you however many bagels. It says, I think on the recipe that I use, I just looked up a recipe just so I had reference, but I've really only done this just by hit or miss. The recipe said that you should be able to get 8 good sized bagels out of it. So, oh my gosh. This is really sticky. Probably doesn't help that it's hot in here either. Even though it's nice and cool outside. Are you guys having good weather?
It's not bad here.
Well, we had a gorgeous day yesterday, but it's a lot cooler today. It's only in this, I think it's like 59 degrees right now. So, but I live way up in northeast Iowa, so I'm way up here in the boonies. So, okay. All right. So I got 5, but one of them's really big, so that's okay. Okay. Excuse me while I wash my hands really quickly so I can go to my next step. All right, so now would be your egg wash part, but I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna use that because I'm allergic to eggs and a bagel sounds delicious. So now I'm just gonna take this and sprinkle on, and you can do it as, you know, as heavy or as light as you want to. And I'll show you this when I'm done. And I am gonna put, my family loves garlic. So I'm actually going to use a little more garlic powder on. There is some in the mix, but I always put a little extra on because they like that. Keep the vampires away. Okay, perfect. So, I don't know if you can see this. Can you see them?
Yep.
Okay, so that's what they should look like. And then we're going to pop those bad boys into the oven for 22 minutes at 350. And then you are going to, after the 22 minutes, you also need to remember to take them out. And then you're going to turn your oven up to 450. And for 4 minutes, you're going to put them back in for 4 minutes after your oven gets up to temperature. And that's what's going to make them crunchier, like on the top. So I did the whole Food Network thing today for you guys. And I already pre-made them. So
Awesome.
So this is what they're going to look like when they're done.
That's so cool.
So, and they're not like your typical bagel. They're a little more, what do I want to say? They're a little more dense. So like if you're used to eating a bagel that's like chewy or something, they're not really like that, but they're really, really good. And then they will keep in a Ziploc bag on the counter for 24 hours. And if you want to keep them longer, you need to put them in the Ziploc bag in the refrigerator, and they can last up to 3 days. But around here, they last for about 20 minutes, and that's that's about it with all these guys running in and out and doing all that. You know, I just leave them on the counter on Sundays. I usually do make them on Sundays because, you know, it's my kids tend to sleep in sometimes, and they then they can just grab something and go. Great with cream cheese, obviously, or anything. Jason sometimes will even make a sandwich out of them. So they're pretty heavy. So,
Question.
yes.
Does that be the whatever Bonnie
Bonnie.
have to be that, or can it be any other kind that has no fat?
Okay, it has to be the Greek yogurt, and it has to be non-fat. Yep. Like I said, my town is like 1,200 people, and we are so lucky that we even have a grocery store. And this is what they sell in the plain yogurt. This is all you can get for Greek yogurt. So actually,
Seasoning.
What's that?
Did you get your anything bagel seasoning?
Okay, this is $1.96 at Walmart. And when I buy it, I usually buy 5 or 6 bottles of it because it's so cheap. But I think you can get it at Sam's Club sells it too, and I think you can get it in the bigger ones, like the ones that would be for restaurants.
Yeah, because like everyone's talking about it on, like, I don't know if you guys have TikTok, but bell pepper, cream cheese, and anything bagel seasoning.
Yep.
I'm like, where do you get this anything bagel seasoning?
Yep, Walmart, $1.96. And then I just use the garlic powder, not the garlic salt, when I do my other one, or when I just add this, because like I said, my family likes the, the other thing you can do if you want to, I never do, is to get the parchment paper and just put it down on the cookie sheet. I just don't use parchment paper because we don't have a dishwasher, so anything has to go through I have to hand wash everything, so it doesn't matter. It's gonna get washed regardless. So
like you could do any seasoning. Like I'm a Mrs. Dash freak.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Mrs. Dash would be really good. I also have this. Well, I don't know about that, but I wondered about adobo because we use a lot of this, which is like a Mexican seasoning because I'm Hispanic, but it has pepper in it, so I'm assuming it would give it a different taste, but it says all-purpose seasoning, but I've never had enough guts to try it. So yeah, it's salt. It smells good, so I don't know, but I've never tried that. But I'm sure you could use anything you wanted to, Kendall.
Ooh, cinnamon and sugar.
Cinnamon and sugar would be really good too, Crystal.
Yeah.
It's a healthy thing because first of all, you made it, and second off, you're using Greek yogurt, and Greek yogurt has a lot of protein in it.
Right, exactly. And I think that my boss or my teacher at school, she gave it to me she gave it to all of us that work for her, but she does that Noom diet. Okay. And she was like, nothing in there. They don't have to really count carbs as much as they have to just count red foods, yellow foods, and green foods. So I don't know what flour would be, but Shabani, she has to have that. She eats that all the time. So, because that would be protein, like Kendall said. So anyway, they get weird shapes. Sometimes the hole closes. This one looks like Bigfoot's feet, but so they're just fun and they're easy, and the kids could do them if they're older, and so that's it, girlies.
Right, that's interesting.
So now I know I'm getting at Walmart. I'm gonna get some yogurt and I'm gonna get some flour. Lunch.
Yes, a self-rising flour and Shabani.
And they cannot be sticky. Like that's the whole.
It's just really, it's harder if they're sticky because you should be able to roll them like in a ball and then stick your thumb through. But so mine were sticky today. And like I said, I think it's because I've had the oven on all morning, so it might be kind of humid in here. I've tried to keep the kids from running in and out of the back door so they don't, bring in air, but that's kind of impossible sometimes. So anyway.
Okay.
All right.
Well, cool.
Well, here's my little knowledge for you today. So
yeah, send me your recipe, Marnie.
Oh, I can, yeah, and I put it in my outline, but I can send it to you too, if you need it.
Yeah, because I want to make those.
And especially with egg wash, I think you just do an egg in a bowl and then just brush it on with a brush.
Okay, and that makes
That makes your stuff stick a little bit better.
Could you almost just spray Pam on top of it too, or butter, like white butter?
I don't know. I've never done that. I mean, I suppose you could do a butter, like melt butter and just do it over the top, as long as it was still the dough part. So, and then you let these cook for 22 minutes and then you take them out, turn the oven on, and then put them back in for 4. And then that's what gives them, they're kind of crusty on the top. That's what gives it that crusty. So, okay.
Cool. All right. Well, awesome.
All right. Thank you guys so much for sticking around for 2 hours. But
Yeah, absolutely. And I say, and I will, I'm gonna try and figure out what's going on here, and then I will send out the link and
perfect.
all good.
Sounds
Great.
great. Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh my God. I can't get this fucking computer to work.